Welcome to 𝐷𝐢𝐿 Online. Once again, we are here today. The Saya, melodious voice of Pap Toure and 𝐸𝐴Mbondi. And Saya, this is just to remind us that, anything we do, we are here. This life is fleeting and transitional. We are going to go very soon. That's why what is important, it is our legacy to build, from the top of our government to the lowest of the lowest to our societies. Whatever we are going to do, please let's remind ourselves that we are here temporarily, transcend this life is, and we are going to be accountable. What lasts forever is our legacy. Once again, we are back on 𝐷𝐢𝐿 Online. Sorry for the for not coming online for a while because of different engagements, but we are here today also to discuss issues that have been, blossoming in the Gambia. As we know, things are happening, like nobody's business. We are going to discuss issues that are pertaining to our developments, but we are going to cross border also to Senegal, and discuss about issues that are happening in our sister countries that is affecting us also equally, because as you know, Gambia and Senegal share borders, they cross into each other, the same families on both sides. Whatever happens in one side, definitely is going to affect the other. Welcome to 𝐷𝐢𝐿 Online. Today, we are discussing, as I said, SeneGambian cultural affairs with Suleiman Ben Suare. Mr. Ben, welcome to your own platform, and you are with your host, Ibrahima Scatrel Jane. Mr. Suare, welcome and greetings to you.
Thank you very much, Ibrahima, for inviting me again on this wonderful platform and this wonderful show. Good afternoon, or good evening on our side now, and good afternoon to others, and good evening to the other people in the European diaspora. Thank you very much, Ibrahima.
Mr. Ben, we have issues that we're going to discuss. A lot of them, we cannot exhaust all of them because I don't think the happening that is coming in the Gambia, we can catch up with them. But we are going to start with the Gambia Police Force. I saw something that you wrote on OG, that's Open Gambia. And what we discussed, this is trending now, is IGP Sanyang attends the official handing over of His Excellency President Barrow's $1 million bounty pledge. How did this come about, and what does this headline says, Mr. Suare?
If it's not sad, this is comical, but instead it's criminal. If it's not sad, this would have been comical, but this is criminal. This is further reinforcing that we are in a big mess. We have a police services that is now geared to do something that is completely wrong. And we have seen the evidence of how they went on to maltreat citizens, especially recently with the Madi Jabate, journalists that went to Casamas, and Alaji Bora, and all these people. And it's not about going after criminals for that matter. We have seen how the crime epidemic in that country, be it drug trafficking, breaking and entering, everything else. But we have a very serious issue, which is the assassination of 2 police officers and the attempted murder of a 3rd police officer. But it seems, but it's not even seems, it's evident now that the police are not interested in justice for society. They're not interested in carrying out justice for their comrades. In fact, they are only interested in delivering a political capital for the NPP. Alayi, what on earth, where on earth have you ever seen police services hand over a bounty? You will hear about rewards in this country, talk about rewards, but you don't see them handed over.
Yes.
1, 2. Have they decided the case already? That they have given them, because the reward is for to apprehend the suspect.
Yeah.
That means someone that they are certain that have committed this crime. And certainty can only come to the court of law. It cannot come because of what you think or what you have gathered alone. You might be convinced, but it has to be decided. What will happen now if Ousainou Bojang, the suspect, is taken to the courts and the case been thrown out? Would they have given a 1 million for nothing? How are they going to explain this? Alaji, we have to be very, very, very worried. Why are they doing this? Alaji, the case went to the courts. And the chief prosecutor begged the appeal for an adjournment, because what? They have not gathered their case yet. If they didn't gather their case yet, why are they rushing? Why are they rushing to award someone a reward? Are they trying to induce that person to come and lie in court? Did that person say that, look, I'm not going to come to court if I'm not given the reward first? These are the things we need to ask ourselves. Alaji, look at that statement. Read that statement. Have you seen a name of a person given the reward?
Yes.
There's no name.
Yes.
Secondly, have you seen a picture of the reward being given?
No.
What you see is the Inspector General of Police, the National Security Advisor.
Yes.
And, and the Minister of Interior. Alaji, what is the National Security Advisor doing at policing matters? You see, it's sad that they don't even understand their role. That's how serious we are facing. But again, it tells you that they have an interest, and the only interest is to how to manage this case, to have a desired outcome, not the desired outcome of justice, but a fabricated outcome. Why did I say this? Alaji, if they award anybody, if they're giving this award to anybody that helped that person helped them to apprehend their suspect, that's a contradiction, isn't it?
Yes.
The police tell us that they are the one that track during their press statement.
Yes.
After they dismiss all the conspiracy Sankara did, they dismiss the conspiracy President Barrow did. They came in front of the police headquarters. The Deputy Inspector General made a deliberation and went on to talk about that so-called grid reference numbers, referring to mobile phone towers, that they detected a phone call and they tracked the phone call to Casamas, and that's how they apprehended the suspect. Now, is that a contradiction?
It is a contradiction.
If they
contradiction, yes.
Now, what is going through the courts? Are they going to drop that statement from not getting to the courts?
Let's see how it goes, but they're confusing us even more. Brother Ben, but before you go,
Yeah.
Who gave this $1 million bounty, and to who? Is it the Ministry of the Minister of Interior, the IGP, the security advisor, and all those things? And when did this happen?
We saw the statement today. It must happen today. And the thing is, it was the president that made that announcement he's going to give. But is the president going to where is the president? Is it his own money? Is it going to come from the consolidation fund? These are all questions we need to ask.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, this is very serious. I mean, these are all questions that needed to be asked. But it's just bizarre that they are going out there contradicting their own statement and that they are going to pay for something. These people still are not talking about the main evidences that need. I mean, you need the evidence to prove your case beyond reasonable doubt. And I can tell you, Ibrahim, they haven't got that evidence. Because if they have followed that evidence, they will arrest the right person, but not SeneGambian.
Brother Ben, and we the context to this is we have 2 police officers gone down in the Gambia in a very, very populated and open space in the Gambia. And one soldier got seriously wounded. She was in hospital. I think she was released now.
Yeah.
And a young man, 𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐥, was arrested, and it was alleged that he confessed to these killings. We saw when they arraigned the court last week or week before last, they said they are not prepared enough, and the judge gave them, that he gave them time, but they have to be prepared. Because somebody who confessed and all those things, what preparation do you need? So now, if we have a $1 million bounty that is coming out now, that is even raise more suspicion for Gambians and make everything so confused, Brother Ben. But now slowly this case is being buried away, because nobody is talking about it. It was the hyper was all around the environment, but just like that, and now nobody, from the police to the official, nobody is talking about these things. So this will be a tragedy. The tragicomedy that is happening in the Gambia is beyond belief. But this case needs to be raised. Gambians need to come out and shout from the rooftop to demand justice for the police, because we can see that the police seems to not be interested to pursue justice for their fallen comrades, that the young people that died not long ago. So Ben, this will be crazy if we have a president that is giving out $1 million bounty, pledge at the Ministry of Interior and this top official. That will really, really be serious. Go ahead, Ben.
As you said, you see, this thing about the confession is a lie. They lie about that again.
No.
𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐥 spoke to people when they have access to him. 𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐥 said he didn't confess to anything.
All right.
That's a lie. Look, if it was true, then 𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐥 would have given them every other detail they need.
Yes.
If you confess to a crime, you would have given everything. You will talk about, you give them the gun. You tell them where the gun was. You tell them the accomplice. Apart from 𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐥's sister, who they claim helped 𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐥 to abscond. And you are telling us because 𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐥 belongs to a rebel movement. Now, a rebel movement send their PC to do an operation and have to rely on the sister to help him to escape. And escape where could not even return to the base, but have to go to a Marabu. I mean, it's just nonsense. But again, it's proven again that when they charge this 𝐒𝐚𝐥, they would not want to raise 𝐒𝐚𝐥 to the prisons because of it. That's illegal as well, because they're still trying to get 𝐒𝐚𝐥, to confess. Look, even if 𝐒𝐚𝐥 have just confessed, this is not enough. The evidence should have to collaborate to prove that 𝐒𝐚𝐥, what 𝐒𝐚𝐥 said is plausible. It did happen. It's about a criminal case have to be proven beyond reasonable doubt. But again, they've sent 𝐒𝐚𝐥 to prison. I can tell you now they are using prison officers trying to put pressure on 𝐒𝐚𝐥. I am not going to go into detail of what is happening there, but that's for the defense lawyers to deal with. But I can tell you that they are putting every pressure for 𝐒𝐚𝐥 to confess to this mother. Why are they? Why do they want an innocent person? What are they hiding? Do you know why Gambians should be worried?
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Now, if you have a whole police office, these things trying to convict an innocent person,
Yeah.
you think you are safe? I am safe. You think your family is safe?
No,
Who is safe in that country?
Nobody.
You see, but I will make this statement. We are at the brink. We are at the cliff top. If we are not careful, we are going down. This is not going into a dictatorship. People come out, oh, we're going back to a dictatorship. No. We already moved out from a dictatorship. We needed to consolidate, to fix ourselves. But if we think that we are going back to a dictatorship, that's not going to happen. The Gambia would end up be destabilized. And we can't blame anybody apart from Adam Barrow and his government. And do you know why this is happening?
Go ahead.
It's because of corruption. Now you have one of the richest IGPs in Africa, who is Mr. 𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐥. You see, this is what happens. We having richest politicians, we having richest cabal from the business sector. People who are working very hard in business and everything are not hardly making anything out of it. But you can see people overnight, because they're involved in drugs, trafficking, they're involved in money laundering, they don't pay taxes, they are involved in a lot of things, and they are affiliated to the NPP, they are affiliated to Barrow. We have seen the richest civil servants now. Alaji, these people don't steal anymore just to cushion up the difficulties of life. No. These people are stealing for generations.
For some reason, sorry guys, I think Brother Ben frozen, but hopefully he will come very soon. Once again, we are discussing about current Gambian affairs, and of course, with our the trusted man, that is Suleiman Ben Suare. And what we are discussing is about the incompetence in the Gambia, the corruption that is topped in our agenda, and definitely nepotism. So we are going to come and discuss these things. Greetings to our viewers all over the world. We are just imploring you to share the video, so that it can reach out widely to people. And of course, we don't have a telephone line opening, but people can write if they can to ask questions, and we will forward these questions to Ben when he comes back along the way from our viewers to him. What we are discussing, what we are happening is across the border, Senegal and SeneGambian current affairs. We are going to talk about the Ousmane Sonko's case. We are going to talk about a lot happening in the Gambia. Things are just being manufactured, and they just roll within the rolling machine, the wheels, and the solution to nothing. And on a daily basis, new things are coming and new things are going. We don't seem to have any solutions to anything. But what is so disheartening is the leadership of that country doesn't even want to talk about all these issues that are happening on a daily basis. Anytime they have the chance to talk to the population, to talk to the masses in the Gambia, they talk about something that's divided us even further. So to the extent that things are just piling up together, and what these things is going to create is there will be an explosion at some point, because this cannot go together. The corruptions, the lootings of our resources, the crime, the drug rate, the blatant corruption, and the crime, and everything that is negatively can bring down a country. Inflation is high, things are not controlled, there's chaos all over the place, and hardly you just clean anything that you can say this is a positive happening in the Gambia. So for that being the case, this would be a concern for all of us to come together and raise our voice, whatever we can do for the sanity of our country. Because even if we are not there, you have people about nearly 99% of who you are in the Gambia, their safety, their concern and everything, should concern you. But even you yourself, who are whoever, wherever you are, and you are in the sanctum of those safeties, but you can go to Gambia and these unfortunate things can happen to you. And what that happen is, no solution to no problem. Whatever happens to you, you and your close family or your friends, go over it. The police cannot apprehend any perpetrators of crime. So these are some of the things that are happening, and we don't hate the government. The government is the sole body that is responsible for all these things. They have the power, they have the resources. All of us paid our taxes and give it to them for them to manage. This is why we, sometimes come out and talk to them so that they can change course, for the benefit of ourselves and for the benefit of the country. And that country means everybody, including the president who in the country. So what we need to do now is let's come together. Most of us, during the transition, people like Ben Suare has been consistently helping, to make sure Dictator Jammeh was, toppled for Barrow to come. And many people give their blood, give their money, give their time to make sure this country is in line so that we can, slough off ourselves from dictatorship. But now what is happening now, the cloth of dictatorship, those who embrace dictatorship and enable it, are the very people, who now cloth Barrow, and enjoying, not only enjoying, but they are destabilizing the country because, the looting that is happening there, the things that divided us, in tribal lines, and I see anybody in the Gambia is a rainbow in terms of tribe. You are a mixture of tribe, either your cousins, your wife, your grandfathers, and all those things come from one tribe to the other, one division to the other, one region to the other. So for somebody to come and talk to us about tribe, when we have our friends that we talk in the table, on different table, that we know part of our families are this, part of our friends are this, the people that we grow up, and we succumb to those people who are dividing us. It just tells a lot about us ourselves, who conveniently fall victim to this tribal nonsense, because there's no tribal issues in the Gambia until and unless you have our leaders who are using these when they know they fail spectacularly, fail the country, fail themselves, and what they are doing is to enrich themselves through nepotism, through corruption, and through incompetence, to the detriment of the majority of us in the country. So for that being the case, once again, greetings to you, brothers and sisters. Let's reflect. These countries that we are running to, are not created by God. Somebody somewhere, a volunteer somewhere raised their voice to the extent that people can easily run or leave their countries and think, this is the place that we can be safe. This is the place that our kids can have educational security. This is the place that our kids can sleep without nobody arresting them, without a consequence. These are places, these are countries that economically we can be viable to help our people wherever we are, because those people stand out. They stood and rise and fight against all the odds that we are experiencing in the country. The stability of Gambia is the stability of everybody. So let's not be bamboozled by anybody, and divide us into regions, and just as Brother Ben was saying, only few of us, within 6 years, politicians turned to millionaires. Business people who didn't have anything turned to millionaires within 6 months, and this is something that we need to yeah, and we need to definitely. Brother Ben is coming very soon. He's restarting his PC. Sometimes we can have hiccups here in the technological world. We have to accept that, but he will be back very soon to continue. But this is just food for thought for us to reflect, and see we are all connected one way or the other. Nobody in the Gambia, I said nobody in the Gambia will tell you I am not cross and rainbow in terms of tribe, in terms of region. Families are dotted all over the place. We've been intermarried and all those things. Our problem is not tribe. Our problem is our leaders. until and unless we have these leaders, that are free from corruption, that are free from animalistically, taking our resources and build their own self. And Brother Ben, welcome.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think it was my laptop that just gave up.
Yeah, it's all right. These things are expected, Brother Ben. Yeah. So, because of this, the debacle in Usman's Bojang, because at the beginning probably they came and thought that whatever nonsense cabbage they sell to people, we are going to accept it to insult the intelligence of Gambian. But Gambian stood out and saying, we can understand what you are playing at. Blaming individual, blame political party. None of them work. And now they blame that, the guy is a terrorist from Casamas. We didn't also hold water, to the extent now they are arresting journalists, the Mankajang, who went to investigate the thing. They arresting Bora, they are arresting Madi. It's just a tactic. Is this a tactic, Jordan, so that they can drill us, because Gambians are easily drilled?
Yeah,
so that we don't talk about this police shooting and concentrate on different things from one thing to the other. They drag Yankuba, who is doing fantastically well. I think we will come to that. Is this their tactics so that they can drill us, so that we can forget about these things and go ahead? Because until now, nothing is on the table in terms of Usainu Bojans, and the two police people who died. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, because they will try to silence us. You see, it's about silencing anybody. You see, what I was saying about the corruption bit, the entire system is corrupt. Now, you don't expect the police to do the right thing. They are going to do the interests of their political masters. And this is what we are witnessing. That's why, too, the executive cannot hold the police accountable. That's why the entire system is gone wrong. Now, the same corruption and dysfunctionality is manifested in the armed forces. You see, that's why I said we are treading a very dangerous line.
Brother Ben, armed force, how? How do you think that is trending in the hand? Because we saw Mr. Drame was retired, or claimly he's retiring, but weirdly, Mr. Mama Cham is older than Mr. Drame. So what is going on? I saw you ask a question at Freedom Radio. You say, who is CDS Mama Cham? And how do you think this is trending also in the army? And we can elaborate who Mohammed Cham is and the contradictions about Mr. Drame and him, because we know Mohammed Cham is a lot more older than him. He is on contract. How can you use somebody on contract older than the person you are retiring now, being promoted to be a CDS on contract?
Yeah, you see, Alaji, you see, all these cases are related. Usainu Bojan's case is just related to what is happening in the armed forces. And the backbone of it is corruption. Barrow have become one of the most corrupt leaders in Africa. Yes. And probably we can't fit all this here, but we'll come to that case. Let me just give you an example. Gulf Petroleum right now is run by Barrow. Barrow has a friend as the general manager. He's got his brother-in-law as the operations manager, and he's got so many of his nephews and nieces running, working at Gulf Petroleum. Barrow have put his first cousin as the managing director for Social Security Housing Finance Corporation, the most, liquid company. And I can tell you, Social Security is in disaster right now due to the corruption. Port Authority, just yesterday, Watson Gambia have reported that Barrow have appointed another nephew as the deputy managing director. You have the operational director there, you have the financial director there. All these people could, especially Ports Authority, you need someone with the technical skills to run a port. In most cases, it's the operational director that would assume those positions, but he got someone from nowhere without experience and put it in. And the same person that he appointed as the deputy managing director for Ports Authority, sister is the minister of environment. You see what he's doing now. Barrow's elder elder brother, called I forgot the name. I mean, is a millionaire right now. The guy was a substantial farmer. Now he's a millionaire.
And brother Ben, you know, and this nepotism is worrying because we have from Wasum Gambia, the Haruna John is now the deputy at Port. We have the Rohi Jones is the minister now. You know, we have Barrow's friend who is appointed his friend Yoro Jallo or Yiro Jallo, company managing director of Gam Petroleum, and then Pausman Toures and all those things. And even Mama Cham has some connection with Barrow. You know,
that's why I'm coming.
yes, so everybody else is a family, is a friend, or his boo guy is the one who is sit and play Dama and Ataya.
They are all incompetent. They are all incompetent. They are all incompetent. He got Amadou Sane and Jaga Sane, the nephews, and turned them to be millionaires. All these people were renting. Their families were renting. I mean, when Barrow came to power. But these people now owns multiple properties. How come? Gambians cannot even, afford to eat, but you are turning your family members and friends into multimillionaires. You are building generational wealth. Because now, this is why whatever happened at Port Authority, nothing comes out of it. What happened at GRA, nothing comes out of it. Gam Petrol, nothing will come out of it. The corruption will continue. People are seeing what is happening to the councils and they are crying out. What is happening to other levels? What is happening to other levels? Now, let's come to the army. Mama Cham should not have been anywhere near a uniform or the army. Let's give a background.
Yeah.
Mama Cham was accomplished in the overthrow of a democratic government.
Oh, he was part of the coup d'etat.
Yes. Yes,
oh, right.
I'll come to that. That means that this person now, you're saying that you want to reform an armed forces. Now you are bringing a conspirator to lead. How can you change the mindset of the men? This is a person they knew. This is a person that came out and be part of a coup d'etat now. That's the person leading your armed forces. You see the message you're sending? Mama Cham was part of the organization of the coup. Wow. On the day of the coup, he because of he's a conspirator, he never thought it's going to be successful. He stayed behind.
Okay.
Now, after we stayed behind and later went to the Nigerian officers, listening to see whether there will be development, whether Nigerians will intervene, because that's why he thinks it's not going to be successful. But when he stayed there till noon and realized that the Nigerians are not willing to intervene and this is likely to be successful, he made his way to Banjul. And his own testimony, they ran around getting the ambassadors, helping to the consulate and everything. He was appointed minister for 2 days and arrested and sent to Maltu because Jammeh is not stupid. He knew he's a conspirator. Sent to Maltu. After Maltu, he was a security guard at Gambia Ports Authority. Later, his friend Maba Diop, who was his senior in the army, appointed him to as an operational manager for his security company. You know what he did? He undermined Maba Diop, taking clients away from Maba Diop, trying to form another company.
Wow. He
was reported by those clients. This is the kind of person we're dealing with. Now, 2026 came. Barrow happened to be president-elect.
So, Brother Ben, he was out of job. He wasn't in the army the whole of this time.
He left at the rank of a captain.
All right.
And for about 22 years, he was not in active service. Where the impasse happened, he went to Barrow's house to say that he's helping to defend Barrow. But he's a friend of Barrow. They do Atayavu and everything else. Barrow reinstated him on contract. Promoting him from a captain to a brigadier. That's major, lieutenant colonel, this is 4 ranks.
Without going through any training, any university, no nothing.
Without he cannot have accumulated the needed qualifications to be there. He was straight away. Then he was there. Now, guess what? You know when Masana Kinte took charge?
Yeah.
The army was, and I mean, there was a lot of tension. There were perceptions of tribalism. There was perception of politicization. There was a kind of a pull. And to the extent of not only perception, there were kind of people who were convinced of an evidence of that happening. That's why if you listen to Drame's speech, that's what he's alluding to. When Drame came in, Drame tried to stabilize that, try to build confidence, to achieve what they achieve now. But 𝐾𝐢𝐚𝐥 was there, undermining Drame as Drame's deputy.
Oh, right.
Not only that, 𝐾𝐢𝐚𝐥 is known to be one of the most corrupt individuals you can ever find.
Mama Cham.
Mama Cham. And this is evidence of, we know, when during the Jawara days, as a platoon commander, he used to steal platoon rations that the men have to eat. And when he was deputy CDS, there was those allegations again happening that rations are being moved from Bakau Barracks, taken to his house. But again, the OIC project, there's a component of the OIC project that the army was given a contract. It was under his preview. Guess what? There's allegations of serious corruption on that contract. Yes, he's been undermining Drame. That was Drame's frustration. Drame did not seek to extend his service or anything. He went for retirement. That's why you don't hear Drame is being reappointed anywhere else. He was frustrated. He was disrespected by Barrow. And that's why Drame made that statement. Not only that, he's corrupt. He have been tribalizing the armed forces again. He have been politicizing the armed forces again. And evidence. Remember the 3 years judgment?
Yes.
The army have nothing to do with that. He came out and made a statement against people who are lawfully exercising their rights to demonstrate. How can that person be taken seriously? Not that again. You see, this I'm saying, the junior, senior staff, some of them are staff, these are lieutenant colonels and so on, they are all complaining the fact of the politicization, the NPP trying to use the army as an NPP entity, and the tribalization in promotions and strategic and transfer of personnel. He is going after the Mandinkas, he's going after the Jolas. He is building kind of a faction. This is very dangerous.
Yes.
That's why one of my articles, I said, if we're not careful, we'll get to the situation of Haiti. If not careful, we'll get to the situation of Guinea-Bissau got to. This guy is reckless. He's reckless. He's a conspirator. And the other thing is, with evidence I'm saying here, is relying on Senegalese to insulate him. He will do anything to keep the Senegalese as long as possible because he knows that he doesn't have command. You see, this is the problem. If you appoint someone who's incompetent, who doesn't have command, who is not respected, he goes divisive. Now, and we all know that the continued presence of Senegalese forces in the Gambia is detrimental to our national interests.
Yes.
We are seeing this skirmishing on our border region.
Yeah, the Daslam and tranquil security situation. We are going to come to that. Yes, you know.
Why do you think there's a border dispute? And this border dispute is not new. Since we demarcated our border, has been there. But there's an offshore. Around that area, there are rich mineral resources. It does not mean that the mineral resources are right within the boundaries of the Gambia. But in geology, if they are, very close to your things, means that Any exploration to be done, both countries have to have an agreement, and there's a percentage to go to that country. This is why they want to demarcate, redraw the lines. And there are so many other things this government is accepting because of they are solely relying on the Barrow is solely relying on Senegalese forces for security. And I can tell you one thing, people will say, yes, presence of economic might be a deterrent, but it's not an absolute solution to a problem. Good governance is the absolute solution. Reforms of the armed forces is the absolute solution. When people are really frustrated or started, there's nothing ECOMOG will do. It will be too late. It's to avoid it happening. But because of you think that you have security at your house, you can go and do whatever you want, taking over the industries. I mean, absolutely corrupt the police hierarchy, becoming one of the richest. Army hierarchy became one of the richest, but the general police, of our strengthened resources are suffering. The army are suffering. Politicians become richest when the general population are suffering. Where is it going to end? This is why Gambians have to take this seriously. And if you listen to, I ask Gambians to listen to what Dramé have said, that he have recovered and build confidence and fight against tribalism and the politicization. Why do you think Dramé is warning for that not to come back? Because he knows that it's already brewing behind the scenes. Alaji, this is the problem we have.
This is the problem we have once again. We back in Gunjur Online, one of the best platforms all over, and we are discussing SeneGambian current affairs with our indefatigable, and trusted and most reliable Suleiman Ben Suare. Greetings to our viewers all over the place, and greetings especially to Sister Mariam Yankuba Jawane and all those who are listening. Please, let's share the audios. And if you don't mind also, you can tag Gunjur Online with some stars, because we are embarking on, giving chance to our young people to learn voluntarily skills, so that probably one or two skills may make them so proud and dignified to the extent that they don't flee, they don't go through the back way, which is now picking up seriously. Our coastal village in Gunjur, or town in Gunjur, or city. Gunjur is a city now, Sugutarians. We are a city. A lot of boats are going on a daily basis. Kids are dying and mercilessly. Kids are selling their parents' lands en masse to go to this risky journey to back way. Even us who are here, we know how things are happening in Europe now. Everything is fed up. And Mamadou Sanyang, thank you so much, my friend. Brother Ben, and against the protocol of the army, we saw Sidunjai, pulling the rope, of Mr. Dramé. We saw Sidunjai pointing fingers, I don't know who was the photographer, but it was a fantastic picture that was captured, and that explained a lot. Probably Gambians will miss this because, sometimes we just brush things away. But that picture, when you see it, I think I made a mistake. If not, we will have arranged to have that picture online. It makes so much, it gives us so much things to think about. And I see Matida Jallo's piece, fantastic piece. He said, Sidunjai, the architects of Barrow's political plans. Who is Sidunjai? I think we are on the. All right, yeah, that picture is there. Hopefully, Lamin will see it on is it in Open Gambia platform?
It's not on Open Gambia. It's on one of my messages.
One of your messages, yes. So I made a mistake. If not, I will have given it to Lamin to put it up here. But we know who Mr. Charm is, and I know Mr. Charm has a lot of influence, a lot of backing from the State House, But to see Sidunjai pointing fingers to his chest and against the protocol of the army, we saw him there. But reference to Matida Jallo's piece, he said Sidunjai, the architects of Barrow's political plans. Are we underrating Sidunjai as Gambians, Mr. Ben?
Absolutely, absolutely we are. Absolutely we are. And I said this many times. And Gambians are not taking heed. Gambians are not taking heed. There's certain even things that I cannot share online. But you see, I said this. You see, there were two. I mean, this is, I have to say this. I'm just semi-composed myself how to say it. There were two people who were most influential on Barrow. It was SeneGambian and Ousmane Sow. Ousmane Sow right now, according to even the press release given by the things, they are looking for his replacement.
All right.
He have suddenly fell ill, went into coma, and partially paralyzed.
Wow.
And I emphasize that suddenly. Emphasize that suddenly. Now, there have been recently kind of a talk of war between Sidi and Ousmane Sow. Obviously, Ousmane Sow is more mature. Ousmane is more educated. Ousmane is more savvy and everything else. And Ousmane have done far a lot more for Barrow. Illegally, for that matter, in fact.
Oh.
So many other things. But for one reason, Barrow have this soft spot for Sidi. And I can tell you, I don't know for certain. Let me emphasize, I don't know for certain. But Ibrahim, I can tell you what's going on. It's not Sidi alone thinking about this. There's people behind Sidi. I keep on telling this to Gambians who are very close to me. Because if you know the background of history, the background of Sidi and everything else, you know that some of the move he takes, it's not him deciding them. But there are other things that I cannot say online. But to tell those things convince me there is more to it. There's more to it. And let me just point to something. The late vice president. If you can imagine that even the late vice president Sidi overruled decisions, and before the late vice president fell ill, he was really frustrated with Barrow, and he was really frustrated because of the presence of SeneGambian and the influence SeneGambian have on Barrow. Now, Sidi, I want to point to certain things for Gambians to take this. Sidi was nominated to be the speaker.
Yeah.
Sidi declined and proposed Fabakary. Do you know why?
Go ahead. No, Ben.
Good. Sidi knew that if he recommends Fabakary, Fabakary is medically not okay.
Yeah.
But again, knowing that he have more influence on Barrow, if he have Fabakary there, he will be influencing Fabakary. Now, there's no point to be a speaker. He can, to be the speaker maker is more powerful than the speaker. If he becomes the speaker, he'll be stuck. But he decided that he won the deputy speaker position. Do you know why?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sidi knows that he will go for the security and intelligence committee chair. If he were the speaker, he wouldn't do that. He'll get that. And being at that position is very strategic. That's why you can see the authority he's showing to do
CDS Jam, yes.
And recently he was in the UK. When he came to the UK, it's a virtue of that position. You know, in parliamentary democracy, anything about reforms and any sensitive information and everything, the chairman of the intelligence committee would have to be included. You think Sidi just thought about that? No, somebody was there to draft these things for Sidi. And again, you can tell that Sidi has been coached past 3 years, you can see change of statesmanship, posture.
Exactly. Yeah, his demeanor, even his utterance and how he talk and how calmly he does things.
Everything.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm saying this. That's why I don't want to say certain things, but we'll say it time to come. But I think Gambians will see what I'm trying to say. We are underestimating someone very dangerous. If Gambians think that it's just because of Barrow is related to Sidi, that's why Sidi is where he is. That's not true. Sidi is privy to a lot. Sidi have done something or access to many things that led Barrow. Just imagine, how can you think of, even if your blood brother that did what Sidi did, you become a president and your blood brother did that, you think you're going to trust him?
No.
Why do you think Barrow would trust him then? That's what Gambians should think of. What leverage did Sidi have to get there? I can tell you final decisions will be taken and Sidi will pull Barrow aside and Barrow will come back and get out of it.
But say that again. Say that again. Say that again.
People, I won't say what actually it was. Very recently, something very strategic they decided, and so was the leader of that. Lead the strategy or the whatever it was. Yeah, and the former Interior Minister Abasanya,
yes,
was part of that bit too. They made arrangements and convinced Barrow agreed to that. It was something very important. That's why I'm not talking about it. Very important. Guess what? Sidi, last minute, within an hour for things to be delivered or performed, he called Barrow to the side, said that don't, and Barrow did not do it. Something that was been worked on for days, and they say, but the minute Sidi knew, Sidi said it's not going to happen. It did not happen.
So is that how influential and how powerful he is, Ben?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And I can tell you, right now he's becoming one of the richest Gambians as well. There are certain things, again, he was in UK here, and we are investigating. He's becoming, because of the access he have, the control he have. He outmaneuvered his competition, which was so. You see, even the decision of Abasanya for Barrow to let go of Abasanya is so Sidi. And that's why
we are privy also, Brother Ben, that there's some of the key appointments in the government. He decided them, he sit over them and all those things. We know the first family also, he kind of magnetized them. They are within his hand.
That's what I'm saying. The influence he have is on the First Lady and Barrow. Most of appointments were in fact affected by Shaw. Yeah, he had some influences of certain appointments, but this is why I'm telling you, Barrow is going, now Shaw is out of the way. Just as the vice president went out of the way, so it's out of the way. I can tell you now, you see the undoing of a lot of things that Shaw have done before. And I can tell you that we are going to run into more difficulties because Shaw was more mature, Shaw was more these things, but Sidi is just a Machiavellian. He's just ruthless. And it's got it into his head. That's why I'm saying, if we underestimate him, let's see where this thing's going to go.
Let's see where things going to go. Gambia, it seems the future is not bright. Greetings to our viewers wherever you are. We are again back discussing SeneGambian current affairs with Brother Suleiman Ben Suare. Once again, share the audio. And let's not hold each other in rancor. What we need to do is to reflect on some of the things that we are saying here and to digest things, currently, as we are aware. It doesn't matter. This is not about the political party against a political party. This is about the realities that are happening in the Gambia in terms of the collapse of our economy, the uncontrollable inflation, the animalistic corruption, the incompetence, the nepotism surrounding the government, and the divide and conquer, the divide and rule into tribes, into regions, into different things between Gambia and Senegal, and all over the place is division and the politics of Garewalle, the politics of insulting each other. This is all encouraged, of course, by the leaders. As we always say, the buck starts with the leadership, because the leadership has the constitutional requirement and the power to make decisions, to make policies. They have the decision, to discuss about our annual demands, what to do, what not to do. Nobody, no opposition is in the government to steer the wheels of the government. It is solely the responsibility of the government. As when the roads are built, the government says we build the road. More roads than Jawara and more roads than Yaya Jammeh. If anything good comes, the government take the responsibility and they beat their chest, to say that we did this. Equally, if there are any misgiving in that country in terms of faltering in economics, crime, youth unemployment, and all those things, no matter who you blame, nobody can make those better without government or government support. So that is why it's so important. With all these issues happening, we have government that don't discuss about anything concerning about our livelihood, concerning about our economy. Yesterday it was about Yaya. Yaya is not there anymore. We hardly talk about Yaya Jammeh. So this is not political. This is nothing against the incumbency of the government. The Barrow himself, because some of us financially contributed to his, acceleration to the powerful seat that he is now, and we have nothing against him. But anytime the country is failing because of the failures of the leadership, the incompetency of the leadership, to the extent that, you fail to the extent that you want to mask your failure. And now you want to divide Gambians so that we can take arms and fight each other while they are making their sons and daughters richer, while the families are being put into receiving salaries in local government. That is only the local government. What about the central government, where people will line up their families and they will loot, from our public money, to the extent that we don't have electricity in our hospitals. Any of our families, no matter how much money you are worst with, when your family died today, when your family got sick, it goes to Gambian hospitals and there's nothing there. The bright example is, SIS saw, he was struck with severe sickness, and they cannot even take him out. He has to stabilize him in the Gambia, but they know there's nothing in the Gambia. So this is why our nephews and brothers are in schools that are not fit for purpose, because, just imagine the Prados, 51 or 52 of them, 4 million each. When we divide that into our schools, how many schools and how many better schools can we erect? When we have raining season that classes cannot go because, things are raining down, cat and dogs, so nobody else is responsible for that but our leaders. So we have to hold them accountable. Brother Ben, this is serious issues in the Gambia. And why do you think Brother Mahdi was arrested? Is all this political, gerrymandering, if you want? Bora was arrested, not only arrested, the Jammeh style intimidation, we saw it in Mahdi, where police will be driving against numberless police cars. And we saw Bora was not only tortured, according to he himself, he was driven, in the middle of the night and dumped him in the no man's land. As Martin Nemola, the German, preacher man, what he said, they come for me and we didn't talk. They came for the civil service, they came for Mahdi, we refused to talk because Mahdi, he is too much, you know, he's against Barrow. You know, Bora is arrested. No. Bora and Kerifatu are UDP. Pamodu Bojang is arrested. Pamodu Bojang. Now the 2 military officers or police officers are down. Where are they? It was UDP. It was the rebels and all those things. So gradually, the roots of impunity is penetrating our country. Whoever is going to touch again, nobody knows. Jammeh started this, and it ended up touching every family, including himself in the Gambia, who were victimized by him. And we are on that trajectory now. Why is Mahdi? Why is Bora? Why is Mankajang, the radio, and why threatening the radio station and the media houses, specifically some people who you think are critical or want to hold the government accountable? Go ahead, Brother Ben.
No, Ibama, you can see the trend. If you misruled, you won't want people to talk about it. It's about silencing people. And you don't just go and arrest hundreds. No, you pick, chip, and once those people are dealt with, guess what? Then the fear will get in. It's about that fear, trying to put that fear. The minute Mahdi, this thing, they expected families to tell their brothers and sisters, hey, gis ngeen ñu ngi jàppa Mahdi, noppi leen. Ñu ngi jàppa Bora, noppi leen. You get threatened, they threaten Ben Swire for court, you have to be quiet. Because then you'll be taken to a court. You see? Because they want to silence. And again, it's the same people. It's the same PIU that we had Jammeh time. It's the same police force we had Jammeh time. It's the same army we have the Jammeh time. It's a matter of whether the government have the political will or the Gambians will accept it. The government doesn't have the political will to do good. What political will they have? They want to use and weaponize the police, weaponize the judiciary. And if Gambians allow it, it will happen. If Gambians allow it, it will happen. And you can see they are using the same mode of operation. What did Bora say? If the president would go and use his parents as an example, he's the one who utters his parents in the narrative. If people challenge that narrative, he's the one who brought this mother into disrepute. And if the president goes out insulting people, because some of the statements the president made is an insult to those people he was referring to. And we knew who was referring to. Those people are people's parents. And the president expect not to be insulted. We all know those things he was saying, what it means. To say that, oh, I was born here, or I was brought up here, I've never drank alcohol, I never did this. You see, we know what it's trying to do. You expect a president to be talking up these things?
No.
But he will not tell you that I've never stole anything. I'd rather have you drink alcohol than stealing, our coffers, killing people. How many people are dying because of corruption? And you see, and once you start to moralize things in that manner, you are opening up people to scrutinize you. This is what happened. What did Bora say? If Bora had said something which was wrong, unlawful, he would have been charged.
Yes.
They first arrested him for what? Doing an analysis on coup d'etat. Analysis on coup d'etat. You have a problem with it. It's not new. He doesn't have tolerance. He has these dictator tendencies. He wants to be dictator. He doesn't want to be held accountable. That's what the problem is.
Yes, Brother Ben, definitely. But we have another issue before we cross to Senegal in the we come to the Gam petroleum issue, but the Dasilame tranquil security situation, this has been ongoing situation. And now the Senegalese military will come with their tankers and their military armors. I think yesterday they came with nearly 13 tankers, with big trucks, where they mount, serious guns, and, fleet of Senegalese soldiers were there, crossing into the Gambia forcefully, and sometimes coming into Dasilame and usurp their land and build schools in the Gambian territories and build infrastructures there and all those things. To the extent that Gambians armies are there, they are not well armed, but they are at the border. But we saw youths, I saw youths sharing it, where, youths with their slippers and bare hands, confronting the Senegalese soldiers and claiming that they will die, but they will defend their territory. We know this has been cropping up, not only in Dasilame, but of recent in Dasilame. The cross-carpeting, the hot pursuit thing, which is only one-sided. Gambians are being sought in the Gambia. They've been arrested forcefully, taken to Senegal and chained on baits and all those things. But then this one is serious, and Macky Sall came and they think, they discussed this. But yesterday we see high-powered delegation from the government, including the representatives of Senegal. But even though the Senegalese military, they cross over forcefully, saying because they have their ambassador in Dasilame, they have every right to come there with arms, Brother Ben. What is going on in this place, and what has this to do in terms of endangering our security, and consequently somebody at some point will going to die, and some, if you don't think, if we don't be careful, en masse. Go ahead.
Ibrahim, you see, Gambians have to be very careful, and I'm going to go into history of this. Senegal have always harbored the intentions to annex Gambia. That's a fact. And why do they want to do that? For their national interests, for the resource rich. Now, let Gambians think about this. On the northern part of our territories in the sea, which is within the Salum Delta, we have prospects of oil prospects and gas. But Gambia, for one reason, nothing is progressing. On the Senegalese side, which they call the Sangomar, these prospects are now starting to pump. On the southern part of or southwest part of our territory, which is of Katong and towards Casamas end, we have something like A4, A5 block, or whatever you call them, prospects. It's not, it was so much potential in it to be BP to venture in it, but mysteriously BP just withdrew and just give us compensation. But on the other side, exploration is going on.
Yeah.
Now, I can tell Gambians, we remember the Iraq-Kuwait war. What was it about? Resource boundary.
It was, yes.
Because geologically, oil doesn't stay in one place.
No.
The gas deposits will spread. A line, just to draw a line, would not be enough. If I have a bit here, you have a bit there. If you start exploring, there's a possibility that my resources will be going to you.
Yeah.
Or there's a possibility that you can, do your extraction in a way that you'll be tapping into my reserves. That's a fact. Now, that's offshore. Onshore, you see that area of Casamas, that area that we disputed, there are potential of mineral resources and oil is part of it. You think they would go because of villages?
No, that's what surprises me. That's a tranquil border, which is closer to Casamance, Senegal, all the way. Why are all these military fleets coming?
And I tell you, soldiers go with operational command. You will not send a detachment to that area or go and confront without senior army officers making okay of it. The government of Senegal is doing this deliberately. And if we continue not to have an effective government, good governance, to reform our services and everything, Gambia would just be missing out. Let me read an extract from the book written by for autobiography of the former Gambian vice president twice, Andrews Camara. And this is pertaining to this border dispute. That's how long it's been. He said here, let me see where to start. It's a photo. Okay. He said, of course, all was not totally smooth. Intercept with period of good neighborhood were occasions when Senegalo-Gambia cooperation had to deal with strains, some of them rather threatening. Listen to this. This included the crisis over the demarcation of extraterritorial maritime boundary in 1968-1969. 1968-1969. We've been having this boundary dispute. There was a SeneGambian Boundary Commission. Now, it continues to say, allegations of smuggling from the Gambia to Senegal, 1969-1970. It continued the Trans-Gambia Road, the bridge project, 1972-1974. This Senegambia bridge have always been a thorn, and harassment and detention of Gambian nationals by Senegalese security elements in a border area, 1971-1974.
Wow.
And listen to this. One of the most serious incidents during the period was a crossing of Senegalese forces into the country in July 1974 to arrest around 20 Gambians, about whom nothing had been subsequently. The Gambia government protested officially, accusing Senegal forces of being violent and in making the arrest. President Jawara, accompanied by the Senegalese ambassador, and Hassan Musa Kamara, visited the localities and met the affected Gambians. Using rather strong language, Jawara condemned these acts of banditry and brutality akin to the strong arm tactics Hitler used against those who were less strong. Imagine that Jawara made that statement. Alaji, we have to have an effective government. Jawara had to visit the affected communities and made this statement.
And Jawara himself.
Yes.
That's how serious it is. Yes.
How serious? It says one of the most serious incidents during the period was the crossing of Senegalese forces into the Gambia in July 1974 to arrest about 20 Gambians, about whom nothing have been had subsequently. The Gambia government protested officially, accusing Senegal forces of being violent in making the arrest. President Jawara, accompanied by the Senegalese ambassador and Hassan Musa Kamara, who was the vice president, visited the localities and met with the affected Gambians. Using rather strong language, Jawara condemned these acts of banditry and brutality akin to a strong arm tactics had Hitler used against those who were less strong. This is what is happening. Alaji, let me give Gambians an example. You see, there's a conflict, dispute between Nigeria and Cameroon. Do you know why?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oil exploration, because they share boundaries. There's a dispute between Nigeria and Equatorial Guinea. Because of what? They share boundaries.
Yeah.
Now, if you Google properly, you will see even in the 70s, what was called the Gambian River Basin. If you Google for oil exploration potential, it was labeled as Mauritania, Senegal, Gambia, Casamance, and Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah.
This is how the basin, because they are all connected. That's why when Mauritania started to explore, Senegal explored this. How come Gambia then would not have anything, but Casamance would have something?
Yes.
And Guinea-Bissau would have something, but Gambia nothing. Does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense at all. Yes.
See, this is why we need to be serious, because Barrow would not care. He is having the kickbacks. For him, that's okay. How many years this government cannot tell us anything definitive of the prospects we have? You see, Mauritania negotiated with Senegal, and they had, I think it's 50-50, the gas exploration, which is in St-Louis. Alaji, I have the videos. I've went there. I visited the area. The gas platform is literally in Senegal. But do you know why they have right to it? Because when they tap, they are tapping to the resources, which part of it is in Mauritania.
Yeah.
If Mauritania can make that decision, why are we not negotiating for Sangomar?
Definitely.
Either we explore ours, or we have to have a share from Sangomar, because that's the Salum Delta. That's the Salum Delta. If you have traveled by sea, you will not see. You will not know when you have crossed over to the other side.
To the other side, yeah.
It's the same place. And a line doesn't define it. A line doesn't define. Another example is here. Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah.
For this puppet government, the government Senegal went into negotiation. First, Senegal wanted to 60-40. They said no. The negotiation broke. Now and at that time the elections came. Do you know what Senegal did?
Yeah.
They are the one that sponsored this. Mbalo.
Mbalo, yes. Yeah.
Mbalo was a former intelligence officer who lived in Senegal before. They sponsored Mbalo, and in fact helped Mbalo to steal elections. It was a disputed election. You know what Mbalo did when he came to power?
Go ahead, bud.
Mbalo went on to give Senegal what they wanted. At that time, it was suspended because there was a parliamentary committee doing the due diligence and the negotiation. He override parliament and went and signed and gave Senegal far more than, in fact, what Senegal have dictated before. And when it was raised, he lied to say that it did not happen until someone leaked the documents to the parliament. This is one of the reasons. The last time they said there was a coup d'etat, it was a lie. It was because he was being impeached for signing this contract. What they did was, you know what they did?
Go ahead.
Senegal sent their special forces and embedded inside the state house.
In Guinea?
In Bissau. They embedded inside the forces, and what they did, they tricked the marine unit. They asked the marine unit to come and help and reinforce them because they're anticipating an attack. You know, the minute the marine unit approached the building, they opened fire on them. They laid an ambush. And they went and arrest the former chief of the marine unit and blame him for narco trade. And this is still now the cases did not progress because everybody knew it was a cover up. It's justified. You know what that justified? For them to recall, and it was the same president who first took over, said he doesn't want 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐼 in there. That's how they reinstated 𝐒𝐿𝐼𝐼 again to come back to protect him. But because of his unpopular, the last parliamentary elections, technically the opposition won the majority of seats in parliament. Now he is in trouble. He's in trouble. Alaji, this would just tell what this informs is. Hence, our entire security is in Senegal's in charge of our entire security. Then we cannot negotiate with them on a mutual basis. They will always have an advantage over us.
Yeah, and I had Professor Baji, I think he's from Dar es Salaam, saying even if Jammeh is here, some of these things will not going to happen because Senegal is tried and all this and that. I didn't know Jawara have took this a strong stand also in order to limit Senegal from usurping Gambians' land. Brother Ben, before we cross to Usman Sonko's thing, I heard you were also talking about the explosion of prostitution in and ghettos, because these are not brothels, these are ghettos, where young Gambians, and people, because it's not only people from outside, they are bringing people outside. There are lottery, all over the place, casinos, within the populations and all, not the tourist areas, but the prostitution, ungoverned, unmanageable ones, exploding in that country, raining down in the, just nearly adjacent or opposite the mosque. Nobody cares. Nobody is kind of, policing these things. But we know this comes with drugs. This comes with a lot of sicknesses that is going to spray if it is not controlled. That's why mature governments who are very, very serious control these things. I heard you. Are we surprised this is happening in the Gambia to this extent, within 6 years? Go ahead.
No, Ibaba, if you remember about two years ago also when we started talking about this drug,
yes,
this was what we were saying, that we have to be careful because the negative impact of this drug is, all this cocaine you hear, obviously it's not to destination Gambia, but Gambia will be hoped to send it out. But where these drugs land, it will end up filtering to the local market.
Yes.
You know why? You think you have a white man, or you have people that you have a ton of cocaine, and because the cocaine owners will not be guarding, they have to get people to secure it for them.
Yes.
And a block of cocaine would be worth 30,000 euros to 40,000 euros a block.
Wow.
You think that those people, you can pay them enough not to steal from that to put it into the local market?
No.
That's why if you check, when they discovered the drugs in Salaji, what happened? Because those people untrusted stole some of it and went to the local market to sell it, and they were caught. The same thing happened when they catch those people in Sarakunda, the 4 Guinea-Bissau, these things a few months ago. It's the same thing. They stole from the hundreds of blocks to try to put it in the market. You wouldn't want to do that. You see, even during the 𝐼𝐻 time, when they found out the ton of cocaine there, it was because of some people stole some and tried to put it in the local market. It will go into the local market.
Yes.
And the negative effects are this. One, something that governments don't even think about is the distortion of our economy. Because money laundering, when you get to a level that your economy now cannot be projected because of central bank cannot project the drug money, money laundering. They can project, the remittance. They can project money coming from construction, coming from other aspects. But they cannot tell you that, this next year we will be projecting this much millions from drug trafficking. No. But what is that doing? It's distorting our economy. Now you see inflation going up.
Yes, out of control. Yes.
Yes, this is an effect. But the most serious effect is addiction. And Ibrahim, the addiction is first evident on the poor people. But I can tell you, even the so-called middle class, I can name you many so-called Gambian middle class today are addicted to coke. The young Gambians in the streets are addicted to the worst kind of the drug. The residue of the drugs are now used mixed with other chemicals.
Yeah, and they call it ginebas, you know.
Yeah. And
that's the Gambian name. That's Gambian name of it. It's so pluralized. It's so pluralized in the Gambia, and how quickly it hits you. So that is the worst part of it. And now they said, you know, it's as quick as the pace of Gina Bass.
Now, Alaji, if you create a local market, what would now you are making children to be sick, to be addicts, education, the education spoil. You are making middle class families, husbands, wives, and losing their mind, the mental illness and everything. But again, they would need a source of income to fix. Even if you had money, that money would be, just go quick.
Yeah.
Now, if most of these girls would, or even boys, what do they have to do? Sell themselves. Most of the boys and girls, what would they do? Break in and enter. I like to just do a simple survey. Look at whenever you hear a break in and enter now, mainly are Gambian youths.
Yes. Yeah,
and if you look at them, if they're arrested, if you see them, you know that definitely these women, kids are on drugs.
Yeah.
And you can see how violent they get because of the drugs. And the other evidence is prostitution. Like before prostitution, they say the tourist area and so on. It's there, true. But now it's worse in our communities. Before I left the Gambia, this was a story I saw in one of the TV, online TVs. I think is Pao's platform. What's it? They covered the case of Brikama.
Yeah.
Some Sierra Leonean girls been brought as prostitutes.
Yeah. Gambian talent promotion. Yes.
It was concerning to me. And again, I had heard about what was happening in certain places in Sekunda, especially at the buffer zone. Because as you know, my trip was about fact finding.
Yeah.
I went to buffer zone, and everything that I was told, I've even seen worse than that. Look,
yourself, Brother Ben.
I saw it. Yes, I was because I was with my son, a 22-year-old. We went and saw it, and I know of in those days the kind of brothels I don't want to use the name they call them. Yeah. There's a place called Danke-Wali. There was another place called something. Yeah. In Wolof. We know all those places, but this is different. In those places before, probably if you find Gambians, you might find 1%, 2%.
Yeah.
Mainly would be people from our sub-region. I can tell you, because I hear these people, I have had these kids. They are kids, Alaji. Some of them will be young as 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. They are not old people. There's an area within the buffer zone. When it is dark and quiet, for $200, they take them there and they do the business. Like $200. For $500, there are motels all over around there. You pay a motel, and $500, you take them there. And from my research, do you know people who are asking for $500?
Go ahead, Ben.
These are like the new entries. I realized that the more addicted ones are asking $200. What do you know why? $200 is for the fix, drugs. And if you look at them, they are more like more kind of rough. Then the ones that think that That's what they value, 500. And I can tell you again, most of the clients are Gambians, vehicles, 4-wheel drives and everything, picking these young people. Going to motels around there. Taken to motels, and they will come back. Now, the other day, I saw what's on Gambia. Report the same thing, and they said, in fact, they moved because there's another compound now, run as a motel. Now, that compound apparently is very close to the Ahmadiyya Mosque. Now they're congregating out there. But you see, they use it's like a conveyor belt, like a line.
Yeah. Wow.
Parading. I took a risk. That's why the reason I went with my son is just to have an alibi. Because I just don't even want to be seen around those areas. And normally I take videos to everything I've visited, but I cannot even take videos. Because Alaji, I have had all the Gambian. I can hear the accents. I know they're Gambians. Alaji Birkama, the worst. These are communities. These are not tourist areas. Birkama was what? And when I did my investigation in Birkama, police officers are part of the cartel, the brothels. You know, I spoke to some of these young things. I spoke to a 15-year-old. I spoke to an 18-year-old. I mean, these are the ages they give me anyway. There's nowhere to report it.
No.
I spoke to people. I spoke to office. Listen, they say, look, they will even name people in charge of that. Most of these girls they bring them from Bo. They are Timinis. Timini from Bo and others. Some of them are secondary school kids or just left secondary school. And they are promised of jobs in the hotel industry. But once they travel, and they are traffic on land, not by air. Once they get to the country, get to those places, brothels, their liberty is seized. Elijah, you want to tell me that if I can jump into Gambia and have all that information, you think the police don't know about it?
Oh, they know. Everybody knows.
Look, some of you, partially, there were some people, police officers in uniform, in the bus. It's well known. And you can hear, the amount of abuse. They're abusing alcohol, drugs, anything. And you can hear the language. They're speaking Gambian language. They are Gambians. But in the Birkama, there are so many Sierra Leoneans. I find out too, in the tourist development area, that's where you find Nigerians, Liberians, and Sierra Leoneans. That too is the same thing. I'm not even daytime. They are lining the rural routes. There are motels almost all over the place. There are motels all over the place. The 𝐾𝐨𝐿 and all over that and going to SeneGambia towards traffic light. Young people. You see them standing on the. It's sad. It's sad. That some people would think, oh, they can protect their children from this. I can tell you that, yes, some of these people might come from poor backgrounds, but not entirely.
No.
There's an element of poverty, but no, it actually is about. I think the most about this influence is because of they get addicted to some, and they've been abused, and they get them to be hooked on these things. And another thing interesting, which I thought did happen, and I had that guy, the Mandinka Machiavellian, what's his name?
Oh, One Park
said this, and it confirmation what I thought, that there are dealers that are recruiting these girls as to make them addicts. I thought this is the system that was going on. That's why I said it's not about poverty. It's about some of these girls being exposed to drugs. And once they are hooked, they have nothing else to sell apart from themselves. They cannot keep a job.
And the police were calling one park, according to him, for revealing the name of a source, not to go and arrest that one. And they were telling him not to tell the source to the people.
I can tell you that I know the two people on the top. I'm not talking about the middle. I don't know that guy one park is talking about. I am talking about even now it's zonalized. I tell you, the trafficking now is, and this is where we're going to have a problem. Next minute you hear gangs controlling their zones. The SeneGambian area, the Kololi area, these things, there are two major traffickers around there. And they are from prominent families. They are running businesses around those facilities. You go to their facilities, they sell you anything.
Brother Ben, we had a gang that was terrorizing people, not long ago. We had this gang, stabbing people, slicing people, and they are all Gambians. They are all Gambian. The surnames and the names are Gambian.
That was somewhere in 𝐤𝐴𝐚𝐥, isn't it?
Yes, somewhere in 𝐤𝐴𝐚𝐥 here. A well-known gang with their leader, Gambian, beating people in their compounds and all those things.
Imagine if a sleepy.
𝐶𝐴𝐚𝐥, according to Sister Maria. Yes.
Can you imagine a sleepy? I mean, when I know 𝐤𝐴𝐚𝐥 was a village, but now it's a town.
Yeah.
It's sleepy because 𝐤𝐴𝐚𝐥, it was respected families living there.
Yes. Very religious then.
Now, that's why I said this is the danger, Alaji. It can be your nephew. It can be your niece. You're not in control of those things. I saw the gang, and there's so many of them. But if you look at them, all of these people are on drugs. Broad daylight going to enforce to rob people. Imagine what those people would do in the night. Alaji, look, we have avoided these things.
Yes, and Brother Ben, I don't want to go any further. You just came from work. Definitely I want to talk about Ousmane Sonko's joining the presidential election in 2024. And the heart melting plea by Papa Ali Nyang about the detainees and political prisoners of the Camp Penal Liberty, 6 prisoners. These are women, these are female, and the erosion of human rights in Senegal. In ECOWAS countries, Senegal is a bastion of democracy before Macky Sall just turn everything around. So if we are talking about dictatorship, people are saying Gambian, there's no dictatorship. Well-established institutions in Senegal have been undermined, and their progress, has been fitted, but dragged back now. And now we have a judge, that says Sonko, and he's a brave man. I think, this is what we need. But definitely is 1 hour 40 minutes. I think we will have something to do later on so that we can discuss about this. But definitely, briefly in 5 minutes, tell us about the consequence of this judge's decision for Sonko to join the presidential election 2014, and how will this override all the impediments that are around Sonko in terms of him standing for presidential election in 2024. Brother Ben.
Thank you, Alaji, for bringing this one to these things. But I would just draw it a little bit longer. This Senegal is always somewhere that Gambia. When I do my comparative analysis all the time, remember, I can go to, but I will come back to Senegal because we have so much in common.
Yes.
Gambia and Senegal was one of the few countries when they had independence, they went into multi-party democracy. Trying to build up institutions and everything else. Senegal got ahead of us, which we have to accept.
Yes.
Not that they were more sophisticated, but again, political expediency. These are the mistakes that Jawara did. Senghor decided to limit himself. And Alaji, I can tell you something. Again, reading Hassan Musa's memoir. At this time that Senghor was living, Hassan Musa was talking to Jawara. According to his memoir, and making it to government that we should have a two-term governance. But guess what? It's where the falling out of Hassan Musa and Jawar started. Because they started to say, you see, because of he's the vice president, he wants to take over from you. Undermine. But Senghor did his bit. It's not that Senegal was perfect or anything, but they started to try to build institutions. The independence of the police, independence of the gendarmerie, independence of the armed forces, independence of the judiciary. You see, when we talk about independence, it doesn't mean that because it's a developing democracy. I mean, we should have the audacity to test it to, say compare to others. But we are realistic. It's not that every ruling that the judges take would be right. Or there's no kind of a government. No, there will be. But in general terms, you can qualify it as an independent. And that's how, there's a lot of skirmishing, there's a lot of trouble, these things. This is from Abdou Diouf coming to, and Abdou Diouf losing the elections. And Abdoulaye Wade took over. And you can measure each other's progress. When Abdoulaye Wade came, he started to undermine the independence of institutions, but he progressed in certain aspects of infrastructure development. And the reason that Macky Sall became a president is because of the Senegalese stood to fight against injustice, to fight against the bad governance. That's what makes it possible for Macky Sall to come in. But guess what Macky Sall did? He came first again. That's why Gambians will learn this. He went and victimized. He drew out a law to say that he's coming to a graft law for corruption. That was a weaponized one. Weaponized the judiciary went for his adversaries, Karim Wade, Halifa Saleh. Then he started to he went for the civil society. Civil society in Senegal is not what it's like now. When he became these things, Yanamar and everything got corrupted. Every institution within the civil society, even the religious, foundations and everything was corrupted by money. Corruption, that's what they use. Alaji, unprecedented last 2 years, Senegal have 3 CDS. It was one of the most regimented professional armed forces. But no, he moved them around because he wants the people that are allowed to do what he does. The gendarmerie, the same thing, turn it around, police turn it around, and brought people that will allow him to be politicized. We saw what's been going on. You see what level he went against Sonko. The verdict that Sonko have, obviously, that's the natural verdict of justice. And the only reason he have it, because again, he luckily met a judge that will do the right thing. Do you know when Sonko was refused a nomination, this thing, it was based on executive order. How can a Supreme Court rule based on executive order, not on legal legislation, not on constitution? It's abuse. Because the judge, and interesting part is this same judge was punished. That's why he was sent to Casamas. He ruled against the government for one of the candidates for local government elections or something like that. The government sent him to the Kolda, around Kolda or something like that. And later he went to Casamas. You see what God did? And now he went and presided over there. And when the case was, it was appeal case, that Sonko's qualification.
Yeah.
Because all the legal jurists said this. There's no condemnation against Sonko. Because he has this right to appeal and everything else. All this needed to be exhausted before that. And finally, in fact, too, is the constitutional courts that could have stopped him. not an executive order. You cannot have the president choose who he's going to run with or not. But they feared Sonko.
Yeah.
They know that the opinion polls and everything. And I'll give you the evidence again that if they have gone first round, Sonko will beat them. Even by stealing election, Sonko will beat them. Now, when they went to this court, they objected first to say the jurisdiction is wrong because they didn't have their decision. How can be jurisdiction wrong? Sonko votes in in Ziguinchor.
Yeah.
Sonko is domiciled in Ziguinchor. Sonko is the mayor of Ziguinchor. How can he not have right to be tried there? When they know that that wouldn't pass, they turned around to say that the brother of the judge is Pastef, is a member of the council. That doesn't mean bring this judge into disrepute. There's no conflict of interest here. It's not his brother on the dock. And he's not taking decision based on his opinion.
Yeah.
He's taking decision based on rule
of law, constitution. Yeah.
Yeah, constitution. And obviously he ruled against the state. But still now, that doesn't mean that Sonko will be a candidate.
No. Okay.
If we go by justice, Sonko, it should not have been a dispute. Sonko should be a candidate. But we have seen the level this government have gone to try to stop Sonko. And interesting, they have this system called parrainage. It's like nomination. You either be nominated by having 13 MPs, or you nominated by this electorate, certain thousands of electorate in every district or a region. Now, most of the candidates, independent candidates, are crying out. They're saying that they cannot get, because they don't have the MPs to represent them, but they cannot meet the required numbers because wherever they go, the people are not coming to nominate them.
Yeah.
And these people are crying out to say that they did not name Sonko or Pastef. They say that it's not fair if you are advocating that Macky should allow everybody to run. You should be fair to let your supporters nominate others. How ridiculous that is. Because Pastef said, don't nominate anybody. If you believe in Pastef, hold on to your nomination. Sonko is going to be nominated, in both ways. They're going to use the parliament, they're going to use this, and not only Sonko, they're going to nominate other candidates in case they stop Sonko. That's why they came out with the strategy of 5 candidates. Other 5 candidates. That 5 candidates will allow them to keep the momentum again and be mobilizing. How can you turn around to ban a political party based on executive orders, not through the court of law? Alaji, Ibrahima, this is the fact that this is the same system Barrow is following. Barrow is using the word terrorism, using everything else to go for UDP. And for him, if this thing could have been proven to be UDP, that would be a grounds to have UDP banned.
Yeah.
And once you ban UDP, there's no other political party in the Gambia. And I'm telling Gambian, if you think that UDP would be banned, another political party would be emerged, and that political party would threaten Barrow's interest, and Barrow would let him be. That's not true.
That's not true.
Just as it happened in Senegal, Karim Wade, went for Karim Wade, went for Halifa Saleh until they become useless. Now he's allowing them to run.
Brother Ben, we have to stop it here. Definitely, we will come back again to talk about issues. Greetings to our listeners all over the place. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for our boss, Lamin Jammeh, and the members of Gunjur Online. Special thanks goes to Brother Ben, for always, dignifying this platform with ideas to discuss issues that affects all of us. And we are so indebted and grateful to you once again. Anytime we have time, we will come back again. Let's listen to Fambondi with the melodious voice of Pap Toure and Fambondi. These are the classic and cultural music of the Gambia. Good night to all of you.